loyalty to his sweet, sweet mama salute. Now we all come together as well. For tomorrow, now we go make salute. Anytime where you there, it no matter. Anytime where you be, it no matter. Anything you they do, it no matter. Oh yeah, it no matter. Now we putting up stronger one inside Sierra Leone, like a big quantity. Where is not a shame. TTP Talking Points platform. Then they give you information about salute.
Yes, family, I want to welcome back to yet another very important segment where they can through the Talking Points platform. My name is Mohamed Kagbo, and today is the 20th of August 2021. In the program, we look at the main opposition party, we are APC, the All People Congress, where they about for go organizing delegates conference, and after that, then they organize themselves for go into convention. And again, in the program, you go get from the spokesperson himself, Yaya Tunis, where we can talk about the challenges of the party and the reason why the Medina court and so on and so forth. And again, we go give you the opportunity for sending text messages, and if you not get anything for contribute positively, you not hesitate for do so. In the program, I did with my colleague here, Dr. Alpha. You can greet people who will listen far and wide.
Yeah, family, good evening and welcome to the program as always.
All right, thank you very much. So, family, just like we begin from the preamble, we don't see many times, although many times, where the APC would see us challenge in terms of internal rivalry or internal conflict within themselves. When I can recall, can get a group what they call NRM, where the National Reformative Movement, where we take the party on a court because they feel say they get a clause on the Constitution, the 1991 Constitution, where they say selection of probably a flag bearer or so, where they feel say the party don't hold enough for let them continue for use autocratically. Again, this may create very serious issue for the party, where make the main opposition party become weak in the sense that even the things where they affect the country as a whole, they not get firm position for come out because in a court, not to one group, different type of groups, and they carry them on a court within themselves. And we know in any democratic dispensation, the opposition means a lot. The opposition go hold the government accountable for let them deliver on the promises, or at least for keep them on their toes. So if an opposition or the main opposition party ineffective, or they get internal strife or internal problem, or this will create a big problem for the entire nation. People are not able to understand the ramification of this, because we know there must be checks and balances to the ruling government for make them do the right thing. And therefore, if the opposition not doing a job, then the government will just do anything where they feel say it right for them. Now that make we want for we get a healthy opposition. They oppose the side where at least it makes sense. I mean, not just oppose because they get it right for oppose. No, opposition for the sake of opposition, not just nonsensical. That is not the point where we are driving at. We drive at a point where we want civil country become prosperous. We want to see the opposition, they challenge the government in power, if they make out a policy, whether they benefits the entire nation. Now, that kind of thing they will look forward to. So now that make we come up with this for at least we help for sensitize or let us listen to what's in the happen and the aims and the objective. And this program, we sorry, now yesterday for we don't actually cover it, but unfortunately we get some technical problems. We make this for push and today. Normally we'll not be the program like that. But because of yesterday, we decide okay, there's a need for let the people get a taste of this. So before we play some of those clips, from the spokesperson of APC. You get anything for throw when it comes to effective opposition, when it comes to good governance, the democratic dispensation? What you want to say? You get anything for throw on it?
Yeah, I want to say already, for let any country thrive and become prosperous, you definitely need a good democracy. You need a thriving democracy. And forget a thriving democracy, you need good institutions, and you also need political parties them way they in good shape, in good form, whether not the political party in governance or in coalition government or political parties in opposition. For provide checks and balances, there must be in good form and in good shape where they go able to do this opposition, and the government also go able to rule well. So definitely, although nas alone we all don't grow up and get this saying, say then two political parties, especially SLPP and APC, now the worst thing way to ever happen to we in the past 60 years. See how we country we get that thought there, and we all know the state of we country. But the mere fact of the thing say we are a nation practicing multi-party democracy. For get president, for get members of parliament in most cases, we need political parties. And if we country get for develop, then we obviously get forget good political parties. That's just the reality. So a good if the opposition also they try for put their house in order, and then try within themselves internally, they try for being more democratic, they try for settle them disputes and get them conventions and what have you. I think now a step in the direction, and it's good not only for them party but for Sierra Leone as a whole, because like I say, if we get good institution, good political parties, then we go get a thriving democracy, we go lead to prosperity.
All right, thank you very much for that short highlights there. Yeah, let me listen to the main spokesperson of the APC, waiting and getting installed, waiting the plan for do. At least we go from before we come and do some sort of analysis for that.
Bring you to the issues around the APC party, we make you there so this morning. So many issues them don't they happen within owner as a party, and some of the issues there so they lead the party in a courts where been put a hold to some of the activities them will be done due for law on our own. Even the convention that they already get a date, but the court been put an injunction on that. What to make the APC party not be able to solve the issues then internally, rather than some members being decide for go seek redress na the courts?
Thank you very much, Khadija. I mean, this is something where the party make every move for ensure say we solve internally. Let us first of all understand say the first case where the three young men from NRM come with, then start first by calling for reform within the party. And no reform now go start na any institution if you not look at the document, when are the legal documents where they guide the activities and functions of that institution there. So when they bring the issue of reform, the leadership of the party decide for look at the constitution of the party. And we set up the CRC, the Constitutional Review Committee. We start the review process. We complete the review process, and if we all can remember, we go lock off or go adopt this very constitution. And in the process, then decide for go court. After they don't go PPRC try for mediate. But then decide for go court, and we be there on that court case day for almost 1 year. And that court case day back slam injunction, or we also hamburg with activities as opposition party. It make we kind of weak because we'll not be able for to do the things that we're supposed to do as opposition party. So a delay with timetable we will be done set as opposition party for really move. And in the end, we began for negotiate and sign MOU and resolve that matter day internally. We make NRM go withdraw that matter day from court. But then just 2 days after that, Alfred Peter Conteh, also when I be a member of NRM, we decide for move and set up a own arrangement, go back to court again. And when Alfred go back to court, the court again slam injunction of we be even tougher than the first injunction, because the courts tell we completely say we not for hold any meetings, any conference, or of any similar nature, either by the executive or associate or anybody. So and to a large extent, it bring the party to a halt. I mean, even though we still been the function internally. So that matter, they still the court, by the way, and not done it.
We can look at the various matter them and how then court case.
Yes, you don't get some of the concern or the constraint way the party have done the face over the years within themselves. I mean, this for us, we should say, a dangerous for democracy, because like earlier on, if the opposition not formidable, then definitely we not get nothing much more for say about the government, because at the end of the day, like what you mentioned right now, I mean, in any government, in any democratic setting, we want to see like serious institutions, and especially the opposition parties, where we get this notion say opposition party no bad sort of like and just for oppose. That's not the case. In fact, opposition party now part of government. In some cases, now government in waiting. Why? Because if the current government fail, then definitely the electorate then will just have a very simple sort of like alternative for giving. Now just look at the past regime, when APC be in power, because they never meet the expectation of the Sierra Leoneans. What the electorate do? They vote in the SLP. The same thing that happened, because back then SLP be team up. Of course, SLP they do their job diligently as opposition. Every little thing of them they oppose. You understand? But what will the time for talk there? The time for talk about constructive opposition for the general good of the country. We don't want because of opposition, you will just oppose. That means no. Even in America, you get the Republicans and the Democrats. These two political parties in America, they know they see eye to eye in most cases. But in most cases, again, they see eye to eye. For example, recently, the Democrats as well as the Republicans, they agree on 1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, where the Biden administration therefore unleash or therefore sign into law, we will allow them for carry out development activities, infrastructure, roads, bridges, clean energy, and many other areas. That is how a constructive opposition will work. Where you see government need help, you can support them. Where you see the government to make blunder, you talk about that. You point the flaws and you bring out recommendation. But again, when you look at the challenges where sort of like if you follow up within Tunis say, they get to see your challenge in the sense that they become even ineffective because of internal. What you make of this? What are their chances of even getting peace within themselves? Not to talk about coming out to contest.
Well, I think few months back, if I recall, I think the various fractions within the party, the NRM and the APC core, I think the majority of them been reach some form of consensus in which then go try for alt them court cases them and try for put them houses in order. And now if dates don't come, say, I think next June or so, I think it's a step in the right direction for them, because as you already say, an opposition is a government, the opposition are a government in waiting. So obviously, I think it's incumbent on them for put them house in order if they get any chance for be a viable opposition, or for even be a government, because if the Sierra Leonean masses, with the people them see out there say you dey in disarray, when you dey in opposition, una no get one word, una no get fixed constitution. When they go by, this faction go say 1991, this faction go say 1995. When I get certain autocratic tendencies, then no matter how bad maybe the government of the day is, people will not give you chance, because if you cannot fix on an internal business, on a little internal business, people now believe say on a go able fix salon business. So for them, it's a step in the right direction. And as they don't get date for the convention and the parties and they try for see eye to eye now. But as I said earlier, it's also good for Sierra Leone. It's good for our democracy, because we like it or not, it's just the reality. APC is one of the big two parties they will get, and if them become viable and more people that we get integrity and get salon at heart, join politics, join them partia, the parties then become very active and viable, then we will get a very viable democracy and a prosperous nation.
All right, thank you. Now we go to the second part of the interview where 98.1 do, where in Eunice, they outline some of the steps that they want to take for make sure say they reach out, because this delegates conference where they plan for attend so now a court order anyway from Justice Fisher where instructs them for do. Why? Because several cases and they will be put injunction on them that technically they ought the party for like even form as a party even internally. I mean, so it'd be very serious. But finally, this is not like a win for them, for APC, because the courts don't give the approval now, say, okay. But again, after that, not just a limited period. The case entirely not done it. But this is for them at least then work within the constitutional framework they don't set for themselves. Now, a lot listen from the man himself, which he get for analyze better on this.
Bring you to the issues around the APC party, we make you there so this morning. So many issues them don't they happen within owner as a party, and some of the issues there so they lead the party in a courts where been put a hold to some of the activities them will be done due for law now or even the convention and they already get a date, but the court been put an injunction on that. What to make the APC party not be able to solve the issues then internally rather than some members being decide for go seek redress na the courts?
Thank you very much, Khadija. I mean, this is something where the party make every move for ensure say we solve internally. Let first of all understand say the first case where the three young men from NRM come with, then start first by calling for reform within the party. And no reform now go start na any institution if you not look at the document, when are the legal documents where they guide the activities and functions of that institution day. So when they bring the issue of reform, the leadership of the party decide for look at the constitution of the party. And we set up the CRC, the Constitutional Review Committee. We start the review process. We complete the review process, and if we all can remember, we go lock off or go adopt this very constitution. And in the process, then decide for go court. After they don't go PPRC try for mediate. But then decide for go court, and we be there on that court case day for almost 1 year. And that court case day back slam injunction, or we also hamburg we activities as opposition party. It make we kind of weak because we'll not be able for to do the things that we're supposed to do as opposition party. So a delay with timetable will be done set as opposition party for really move. And in the end, we begin for negotiate and sign MOU and resolve that matter day internally. We make NRM go withdraw that matter day from court. But then just 2 days after that, Alfred Peter Conteh, also when I be a member of NRM, we decide for move and set up a own arrangement, go back to court again. And when Alfred go back to court, the court again slam injunction of we be even tougher than the first injunction, because the courts tell we completely say we not for hold any meetings, any conference or of any similar nature, either by the executive or associate or anybody. So and to a large extent, it bring the party to a halt. I mean, even though we still been the function internally. So that matter, they still they court, by the way, they not done it.
We can look at the various matter them and how they court case.
Yeah, so Fambule, Unasa don't get the full picture of Yaya Tunis, who is the spokesperson for APC. Unfortunately, we're not going to play the entire clip here because it's a lengthy interview anyway. This is not just for let yourself can get a glimpse. Let you just get a framework of a sort of like a fair knowledge about what's in the store for the main opposition party, okay, as they prepare for going to the delegate conference and subsequently going for the convention. Now, let me look at the things that they happen at Salon. Many bad things that they happen internally. I mean, we feel say the civil society then they don't keep quiet. I mean, so if we see the opposition, the main opposition party again, they disarray, then we can't see it head for the worst. Because the reason why we get civil society now for all the government accountable or check them powers, you know, at least put things in place, fight for the common man, fight for human rights, good governance, and make sure say the ordinary life of the citizen it become even better or improved. We don't see many cases where we're not able to see any very solid sort of concern or even a memorandum or what can I say, a statement where at least they point to the ineffective of the current government or inability of the current government in certain issues there, like human rights. We see many areas that we feel say the civil society there, it seems as if either they don't take sides or maybe probably they don't lost track, they don't know their job anymore. We see many disturbing videos there. We're not able to bring their all. Even Chris Man said, look, Blacker, even Blacker said, where now mentally it had the challenge man, was beaten mercilessly. We not see, or at least to my knowledge, we not see any civil society come out and condemn her. We not see any political party and condemn her. We not see any institution come out and condemn her. This is bad. The world where Salon they move, so if we not get checks and balances, we just left and so it could be dangerous. If somebody get power and gets everything, enough will be so. When you get power, not test for you. That doesn't mean that you can just abuse the power, you violate the rights of everybody, or you abuse whoever you think they're in conflict with your opinion or with the thoughts or whatever. And it's bad, it's dangerous. Because if we not come up with or try for fitting or try for fix with institutions there, at least being opposition or civil society, we're not getting nothing again for talk about. Nothing. Everything will just stand still. Worse off, it will even go backward. What's not you take based on the challenges where the main opposition spokesperson will be mentioned? So what now you take regarding this?
Well, of course, I mean the Court of Sierra Leone, the highest judicial body in the country. So if the court slam you an injunction, be it on political parties, football associations, it's very difficult for operate. But nonetheless, the court just get for doing work, you know. Normally, and when in such cases like that, you always get individuals or group of individuals who go court and seek redress. And in most cases, the court, if they find suitable reasons, then they go slam an injunction where more or less na a temporary halt. It's not to like say, oh, we disband on our waiting, and just like on a pause. Let you examine the so-called evidence where this person don't come, if you hold water or not, then they move ahead. So I mean, that's why party for always be structured, as I say earlier, because it's bound to happen. Things like this are bound to happen. But where they happen and how well the party is structured, they go able to coalesce around the common goal of them party, around the how you call this thing, the motto of them party, around the core values of them party, then go able to coalesce and say, let's put the differences aside and do. But all that's also a beauty of democracy in one way or the other. Although it almost seems as if the party was in disarray, but seeing that if one or two persons feel aggrieved then able get the chance for say, okay, we dey go court, and the court can able make decision, say, on a pause, we're examining this. You look in another side again, it seems like democracy is at work. But then can just say too much of what one thing is good for nothing. Because if always when they go court and slam injunction, court and slam injunction, then you at the end of the day, the thing where you want get, you not go able get them, because you dey able for even destroy the very thing where maybe you dey try for build. So too much of one thing is good for nothing. If you defend too much, you know, try for attack. I'd just try for bring football comparisons now. So if you go court, you know, then you try for settle on our differences and coalesce around on our common core values, as I already said. But just quickly, you mentioned things of civil societies and all with regards to certain happenings in the country. And now the unfortunate things now and in a salon, almost everything has been politicized. Everything is about politics. Everything is about collection or benefit within somebody forget at the end of the day. And I know one sit down here and say the entirety of all civil society organizations, then don't be politicized or don't take sides. But all I go say, a lot of civil society, as then come, then spokespersons or the executive directors or whatever name nomenclature, they don't give themselves sit on TV. You almost always don't know the direction, whose side they go. No matter how crystal clear, white and black the topic is, for everybody to say this is the way, the majority then go always get away for spin for favor whatever political dispensation they did. And I think say not good if then the benefit certain benefits in the name of civil society. Oh God.
Okay, family, I think William brother gets a small technical problem from your side. So just follow round up the program. If it's just the January, this is not the program where we quickly bring camp. The main opposition party, the APC, they prepare for the Delegates Conference, and after that, then they prepare for set up for the convention, where then feels at least it will take them forward for contested 2023 election. So we go keep on our posted. We go bring some issues in where we feel say idea of interest to now, because at the end of the day we feel say on our right for learn and know what they happen within the country. We want for we country continue for be a democratic country, and the opposition need for work. Like one, they need for team up very strong, at least for put pressure on the government so that the government will do the right thing. And at the same time, we as citizens, we also get to pass for play and make sure say we do the right thing. We support the government, we criticize, we feel say, then they fall short, and then we give them a round of applause, which I feel say they deserve them. So until then, my name is Mohamed Kagbo. We will bring come to again another program very shortly, and we will keep on posted, we'll keep on informed. And again, don't forget this program you get also on YouTube, TPP Leon. Don't forget, whenever you go YouTube, you can just click on the subscribe button, not free. You don't need to pay anything for it. And you will be among the first person who will go notify anytime we upload new video. That's an awesome thing for you. So I think, woman don't come back. All right. So you go say goodbye to Fambule now, because time don't dictate you now.
I'll just end that.
Right.